Have you watched that conference by the president of the National Bank of Poland? Professor Glapiński spent over an hour providing a detailed explanation of the mechanism behind the safe 0% program. This was in response to accusations of breaking the law and creative accounting. I'll try to summarize the essence of his speech. Where did those 197 billion PLN come from? It's not fresh printing, but the result of an increase in value. President Glapiński very clearly separated two issues. The state is reserves, which cannot be touched, and the unrealized profit that arose from those reserves. Why isn't this printing money? Because the money already exists. In previous years, the NBP bought huge amounts of gold. Now we have about 570 tons of it. The price of this metal on global markets has skyrocketed. It's like if each of us bought an apartment for 500,000 PLN, and today it's worth 700,000 PLN. The 200,000 PLN difference is precisely a paper profit that exists but is not cash in your pocket. In the NBP's books, this difference, about 197 billion PLN, sits on a special account and waits. How to realize it without depleting the reserves? And here, Glapiński presented a specific mechanism which, as he emphasized, doesn't require changing a single regulation because it fits within the standards of the European Central Bank and the NBP's mandate, swap operation. The NBP sells part of the gold, e.g. the one in London, for dollars at the current high price. This way, it closes the profit in the books. Transferring the profit, the cash created this way, now realized profit, goes to the state budget for the Armed Forces Support Fund, replenishing the reserves for the same dollars, or later, the NBP can buy back the gold. And here's the key point. If the price of gold falls, you can buy more than you sold. If it rises, well, the profit has already been used for the army. President Glapiński argued that this isn't an invention, but standard practice. Similar operations have been done by the central banks of Austria, Belgium, or Switzerland. And what about the Constitution and the law? How do experts view this? And here comes the biggest dispute. President Glapiński himself dispelled doubts during the conference, but independent experts are cooling the enthusiasm. Compliance with the Constitution. Argumentation of the NBP president. The operation is legal, fits within the NBP's mandate, and doesn't require changing any regulations. Voices of experts and analysts. Article 220 of the Constitution prohibits financing the budget deficit by the NBP. Transferring 197 billion for armaments is de facto bypassing this prohibition. Nature of the operation. Argumentation of the NBP president. These are not artificial accounting operations, but real business transactions, selling gold, buying dollars. Voices of experts and analysts. This is financial trickery, a series of buy-sell transactions that create nothing new and only serve to circumvent the law. Risk to reputation. Argumentation of the NBP president. The NBP is strong, and the reserves will remain intact. Voices of experts and analysts. The risk is enormous. Rating agencies may lower Poland's credibility rating, which will increase debt servicing costs and weaken the zloty. The ECB views such ideas very critically. The case of Italy. Mechanism of paper profit. Argumentation of the NBP president. This is an extraordinary opportunity to use the historic increase in gold as value for the good of the nation. Voices of experts and analysts. This is gambling on the rise. If the price of gold falls next year, as it has happened before, the NBP would have to book gigantic losses. In summary, President Glapiński convinces that he has found a way to transfer paper profits from gold valuation into real money for the army without violating reserves or the law. However, experts warn that this is an accounting maneuver that exposes Poland to serious market and legal risks, and its compliance with the Constitution is at least questionable. How do you evaluate these arguments? Which side of the dispute seems more convincing to you? leave a sub and a thumbs up.